Hey guys, how's it going? This is Natenator. I sat on a bench under an autumn-dried tree, where I usually spent my time after school. The cemetery was empty, no surprise. An occasional mourner dropped flowers, always some old person coming in to see a lost loved one, or a jogger taking a new route for a change. Nobody goes to a cemetery because they want to. At least, nobody but me. It's not like a daughter or son would stop by to see a parent who's passed away. It's those little things you notice after a while. Who cares, and how they show it. I was reading a book to set the mood, Poe's Ever Atmospheric, The Pit and the Pendulum, to be specific. It always made sunny days turn to cold nights, with the aid of my parasol to cast a much-needed shadow over me. The last thing I needed was a tan, the grey clouds too few in number to fend off the sun above. At least it was quiet, no noise from any cars, since the only thing nearby was a small neighbourhood straight out of Leave It to Beaver. Even though the cemetery was way out of the way from my house, I'd rather be around a bunch of dead dudes than be bored to death in my room. There's nobody to relate to in this backwater town, especially for a girl that wears all black and would prefer a flannel skirt with chains over tight jeggings. I always look at the other girls at school and knew for a fact that I didn't want to be like them. Loud, flirty, giggling at every little thing, trying to get a guy's attention. It's just not for me. But what are friends for anyway? All they do is tell you what to do, what to wear, how to do your hair, talk behind your back, take up your time, and make you miserable. Who needs them? I was starting to sink into the story when someone walked by, the scuffing of their shoes on the cement path making me look up. It was a boy, cute as can be. I remembered seeing him at school before, maybe an 11th grader at the most, probably a track guy with the strong legs and slim size he had. He was looking right at me when my eyes got up to his, and I tensed up, unwantedly, pretending like I was still reading. When the feeling of someone coming too close popped my bubble, I looked up again slowly, as if I didn't know who was there. "Haven't I seen you somewhere before?" he asked. I tried to find my place while talking. "I don't know. I haven't seen you here before." He pointed at the nearby gates at the end of the path, where the timeless suburb was. "I live right there, super close by. I never really cut through here since cemeteries give me the creeps." There was a short pause, but he didn't leave. "What are you doing here? Just reading?" "I'm trying to." "For what? School?" "Nope." "For fun?" Cross-legged, I wiggled my foot, like when a cat wags their tail angrily. "Do you mind? I kinda go to a place with no people for a reason." He held his hands up defensively, a thumb hanging onto the strap of his backpack. "Sorry, I was just being friendly. You like stories? I got a story for you. It's about this cemetery. You'll love it." I gave in, flooded by his pestering. He was lucky he was cute, or else I would have ignored him in the first place. I didn't realize that was why I let him talk. Not until later. I felt shallow, but it's not really anything new. I wasn't alone in that way of thinking. I'm sure any human being would rather sit down with someone they wanted to kiss than sit down with someone they wanted to kill. He seemed pretty human to me. I slammed the book shut, frowning at him, hoping it would intimidate him. Go ahead, impress me. He sat next to me without an invitation, chuckling as if he was impressed by his own story before he even told it. It's an old legend that my dad told me. After we moved here a few years back, he told me to be careful when you put your hand on a grave, because if you do, it'll stir up the soul of the person buried there. I yawned, patting my black lips with my gloved hand. That's baby stuff. Let me guess. Then the soul haunts you forever. He seemed to enjoy it when I over-dramatically gnarled my hands at him, and my crappy attempt at a Romanian accent put a smile on his face. Close, but let me finish, he insisted. I'm not done yet. You little know-it-all. I squished my face at him, perhaps a bit too flirty now that I look back. It was one of those habits I didn't even know I had. You see, the legend has it, where you put your hand on a gravestone, then you say the words, "From me to you." If you do that, the soul enters your body, and the spirit will come to you to ask for something. If you do what it asks you to, you get a reward, like something you really want. But if you don't, then the spirit takes over your body and your soul gets lost forever. I snorted, laughing under my hand. There was no way to look cute doing that, but that didn't stop me from trying to be dainty about it. So how long does it take for the ooky spooky spirit to steal your soul? Let me guess. 13 days? 666 hours? Something cheesy like that. Not even. It's different from person to person. Like an addiction. Some can fight it, others can't. It's all a matter of will. I mean, I've never done it before. In fact, I don't believe in it really. It was just some stupid story my dad would always say to scare me. I guess he just didn't want me to get lost in here by accident or something. Sounds like he cares a lot. I'd never be able to know the feeling. He didn't catch it. Either that, or he didn't have time to bother with my daddy issues. Instead, all he did was awkwardly give me a wave and slap the side of his jeans. Well, I'm Gerard. It's been nice talking to you, but I gotta run. Right when he turned his back to me, I replied, I'm Helena. He turned around, surprised that I even bothered to tell him my name. Maybe the eyeliner made him think my stare was cold, when it was really warmer than wanted, but that was me trying to get in his head. What he did do was give me a grin, like someone handed him a gift. Helena. Cool. It fits. A unique name for a unique girl. I actually smiled at the remark. It wasn't every day someone called me unique in a nice way. It's not like anything was needed to be said. He waved goodbye and left the gates. I watched him walk all the way across the cemetery before I even remembered I had a book on my lap. I tried getting back into the story, but the stupid story he told me took up my brain like a damn study lesson. I couldn't focus on the words on the page. Once the book spell was broken, It's like fixing a broken mirror. More trouble than it's worth. I decided to head on home, taking the opposite gate that Gerard took. Picking up my parasol, I nearly skipped my way out of there. There was joy in my step I wasn't used to, a joy I never really felt before. Passing a line of graves, my eyes caught a name that got my attention. The gravestone of Lenore Wu, 1987 to 2012. Died at the age of 25, barely 10 years older than me. If only it said what she died of, but that would be asking too much to put on someone's gravestone for all to see. I quickly assumed in my head that it was the usual drunk driver victim they have every month, even in such a small town like mine. But that name, Lenore, I couldn't pass it up. What would taking a second to prove the story wrong do? I mean, a small part of me thought the story could be possible. That part of the body that says ghosts are real and aliens exist. While the other 99% of me told my feet to keep walking, almost throwing myself against the porous slab of granite. I put a hand to the stone, right over her name. It was a lot colder than expected, especially for something that's been out in the sun all day. Despite going to the cemetery for so long and so many times, it was the first time I've ever laid hands on one. Closing my eyes, I whispered under my breath, "From me to you." For a second I waited, expecting hands to come out of the ground and drag me under, or for some kind of ghostly cloud to seep into my mouth. But no, nothing happened. The wind kicked up a bit, blowing some dead leaves over my fishnet stockings. That was it. Slipping my hand down into the grass, I pouted mentally. I knew it. It's just a stupid bedtime story. Getting up, I huffed loudly, brushing the bits of crumpled leaves off my knees. Oh well, now I know. I walked home right after that, disappointed the whole way, and thinking back, thinking about Gerard. I don't know why. It's not like he's Tom Hardy with a sawed-off shotgun and a chained-on mask. He just seemed so real. Nothing fake. Not trying to impress people around him, not trying to get me to go out with him, and not trying to get me to like him. It was a natural friendliness I wasn't used to, abrupt as it was. He could probably smell the loneliness radiating off of me from a mile away, like a bloodhound searching for an escaped convict in the woods. Usually, I try to send people off as fast as they start talking, but with him, I didn't mind. I kinda liked his voice and the lips he used to talk with. The conflicting feelings circled around in my head the entire way home. I even started thinking about keeping an eye out for him at school tomorrow. The house was empty, Mum at work, so nobody to bother saying hello to. The time I got out of school was the time she left, only actually getting to see her once or twice, before I started spending time at the cemetery. It seemed like the pictures of us scattered around the walls was the only reason I remembered how she looked. I've always hated the pictures she had of me when I was younger, all smiling and stuff. It looked disgusting. But they made Mum happy, so it was bearable. That didn't mean I never tried to throw them away before, and boy, did I learn the punch my mum was packing on that day. There was no reason for me to go into the kitchen. The leftovers in the fridge were going to be untouched once again. Even though I looked like Jack Skellington with spiky black hair and snake bites, I didn't have much of an appetite. I think I was too skinny, but I always got compliments about it. Not even a million "you look goods" would make me feel better about the way I looked. I tried to avoid the mirror built into the closet in my room at all cost. The more I looked, the more I felt that I shouldn't be who I was. Night arrived faster than I could even realize. The dark curtains I covered my window with, concealing the outside world. One by one, I blew out the black candles that I had lighting the room and keeping it warm. With only one left burning on my nightstand, I lay in bed and stared at the heavily shadowed "In This Moment" and Nightwish posters I had scattered along my walls. I felt tired, and I had nearly passed out during class earlier, but I couldn't get relaxed. No matter how much I tossed and turned, I couldn't get any sleep.